Welcome to the Looking Glass. Today we're going to learn about a invisible realm some would consider the realm of heaven. We're going to learn about how the realm of heaven is connected to the seven metals. We're going to learn about the goddess Sol. We're going to talk about Saturn and the wolf and the dog star. We're going to talk about the possibility of going through a black hole and being introduced to a new sun and a heavenly reality that has been hidden from all of us. We're going to talk about a major shift, a polar shift from a patriarch to a matriarch, but more importantly, being governed by a Holy Spirit and not by ego, basically. My name is Mary Moses, and we go live on TikTok, covering a piece of paper with charcoal and allowing Spirit to reveal the blueprint of your soul. This blueprint is the blueprint of Virginia. If you're here, you're meant to hear the message that the blueprint of Virginia's soul has to say to you. So Virginia is at 12 o'clock, and there is a male at 1 o'clock with an Eiffel Tower poking him in the eye. This is a medal. And an American Space Force symbol below that, an owl, a chalice. And then we go down from there. There's a little boy, a lion, a star, and a wolf, two lions at 6 o'clock, a wizard under a rainbow and a portal behind him. At 7 o'clock, there is the black box of Saturn being held by an archon with the word Oz coming out of that. Above that are pictures floating around and frequency. There is a heart being opened up by a sun or a giant star, and inside the heart is what seems to be DNA or possibly some sort of artificial intelligent implant. Above the heart is the word Oz. Now, Virginia is holding a giant star, and this giant star is swallowing up a solar system. If you can imagine going into a black hole, but it's not a black hole, it's actually a hole of light. We perceive it as black, and according to this reading, it is a star that is a portal that is swallowing us up, and we don't even know it. Above the star is a dog like Sirius B, the dog star, with lightning and a crown. The crown is made of gold. So on the right side of the page we have lead, which is the Eiffel Tower, and on the left side of the page we have gold. Notice the seven colors of the rainbow and a young person with their headdress made like the sun. Above Virginia's right eye is a symbol of the threefold flame. This is the number 3, and the number of the sun is 111. So we're going to learn about the goddess named Sol, and this is going to be very interesting. So you might want a pen and paper to write down some of the information that we are going to reveal about a hidden realm that we may be seeing soon. The number 13 is being portrayed quite often in this piece. We're going to talk about this in depth. The number 13 is connected to the land of Oz. Above Virginia's head under the rainbow is a heart, but the heart makes up the number 13 as well. Again, we have the Vril American Space Force symbol that is connected to Maria Orsic, and the Holy Dove above that. Notice the pyramid that actually looks like 3 number ones. This is the symbol of the sun, and the pyramid is connected to the sun, as when we look at a pyramid from one angle, it makes 3 lines, which is the number 3. This flame is significant, as is the 7 colors of the rainbow, as it is connected to the 7 chakras, the 7 continents, the 7 seas, the 7 wounds of Christ, the 7 spirits of God, the 7 trumpets, the 7 seals, 7 musical notes, 7 wonders of the world, 7 deadly sins. And Osiris's body was cut 14 times, 7 for her and 7 for him. Parallel worlds, the ability to bounce our consciousness, raise our frequency, and fly over the 7 colors of the rainbow like a pretty little bluebird. Is it possible? Is it possible that we can all just suddenly bounce to a land, a heavenly realm called Oz? The author of the book of Oz, or the Land of Oz, did not intend to write this story as a fantasy. It was actually revealing a hidden realm, and the intention was to expose this hidden realm. Baum strictly intended the Land of Oz to be a real place, an undiscovered world, and not just a delusional fantasy or a fevered dream from a bump on the head that Dorothy had, as it was left open for the viewer of the movie to decide. According to Baum, Oz truly does exist and is located somewhere on the planet Earth that can never be found. Oz is entirely cut off from the rest of the world. Oz is said to be an uncivilized country that lies upon enchanted grounds. One could even say that Oz is another dimension held at the very center of the universe, where it is cleverly hidden by magic and rarely ever visited. Not by muggles, anyway. Only munchkins. So the Land of Oz is a place of magic, and it is a place where glass cats wear fur of spun crystal, and there are fighting trees and fairies and mermaids and gnomes and porcelain people who live in the China country. That's interesting, isn't it? It's so strange to me because the Land of Oz seems to show up a lot in my readings. And yes, it seems to be a beautiful place made of spring water and crystal flowers and little munchkins. But according to my reading, it's connected to Osiris. Osiris's body was cut 14 times, 7 for her and 7 for him. So one reality made of 7 and the other reality made of 7, a patriarch and a matriarch. One realm is governed by her and one realm is governed by him. So the Eiffel Tower is the phallus of Osiris, and the phallus of Osiris was never found, but the phallus is connected to a man or a male. So I'm going to explain how Osiris is connected to the Land of Oz. Osiris is Oz, Iris, and Iris is the goddess of the rainbow. So Oz is the male and Iris is the female. I'm going to talk about this a little further to help understand that many gods and goddesses aren't just a description of a human life form or consciousness. It is actually a description of a place. Kind of like Solomon's name. Sol is the sun, the goddess, Sol of the sun, and Oman is moon. So King Solomon may have been a man, but he was really a description of the sun and the moon. Osiris isn't the sun and the moon. Osiris is a planet or a reality or realm that is called Oz, Iris. Now there is a place in the Bible called the Land of Uz, and it says, "Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz." That sounds like a couple of tra-la-las in the merry old land of Oz. And the book of Job, or the man Job, was also a man that was in the land of Uz. I'm not really sure if there's a connection to Uz or Oz, but I do know that Osiris was told to me by spirit was an allegory for 2 parallel realms. And these parallel realms mirror each other and balance each other, and we actually go through a polar shift and go through a Lion's Gate and get swallowed up by Sirius B, the dog star, and we don't even know it. So like a thief in the night or like a lightning strike, we went through or are going through currently the energy of the goddess Sol or Solomon or the blazing star of Sirius B, and are going through a transformation. But to understand this, we need to understand the 7 metals. So let's get our pen and paper and learn about the 7 metals. And I want you to see here that lead and gold make the word Oz. Okay, so in the 1930s there was a tower, and it was the Eiffel Tower. They called her the Old Iron Lady and the Tall Beautiful Lady. She was the lady of iron or metal. So we're going to understand goddesses or lands made of iron and lands made of gold. There are many goddesses of metal. One in particular was in Japanese mythology was called Kanyago. She was the goddess of metal. So since the beginning of time, people believed that metals had spiritual powers and the potential for creation as well as destruction. So metals can create and destroy. Interesting. So alchemy is understanding how the different metals are associated with different planets. And these planets were connected to our spiritual connection individually and collectively. Every metal carried a specific or special significance. They held a physical and philosophical meaning. Look at the word Oz again. We're gonna learn the metals today in the merry old land of Oz. Ho, 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 ha, 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 and a couple of tra-la-las. Gold is a black circle with a little black dot in the center. And sometimes it has like a shooting little design on the outside of it, but it's mostly a black circle with a black dot in the middle. So the 7 metals are lead, tin, iron, gold, mercury, copper, silver, and they are called the metals of antiquity. So lead is governed by the planet Saturn. So if you think of the word Oz or Z, you're going to think of Saturn. Lead has dark connection, is related to death and transformation. It is a toxic metal that represents impurities. Alchemy is the transformation of humans transforming from lead to gold. This is very significant. In the story of the Land of Oz, Dorothy actually wore silver shoes that walked on streets of gold, which is the yellow brick road. Lead is connected to divination spells. It basically burns away all impurities. I say within our DNA. Our DNA has been manipulated. I think it burns away falseness within it. 10 is represented by Jupiter. Now notice, Virginia, in your piece you have the word Jupiter above the face of the dog. It embodies wisdom, logic, education, maturity, knowledge. It is believed to be the metal of the sages and the scholars. It's associated with meditation, balance, and a philosophical view of life. Iron is one of the most abundant elements in the universe. It is dominated by the planet Mars. The metal was widely used by the Asians, Africans, and Europeans. It promotes emotions such as lust, confidence, courage, strength, stamina, and resilience. It is considered to be the most human metal, and so it is distrusted by the ethereal entities and spirits. Interesting there. So spirits distrust that. The celestial body presented by gold is the sun. The metal was highly valued by the ancient Egyptians. It was believed to represent perfection and purity. It is the symbol of wealth, prosperity, authority, charisma. It's supposed to aid in healing, protection, growth, and knowledge. Very interesting. Mercury is associated with the name that it's given, Mercury, the planet Mercury. It is a toxic metal and is associated with death, mystery, and transformation. It is also connected with divination and scrying. It's related to travel and movement, be it of physical or spiritual nature. It is one of the 3 principal substances on Earth, along with salt and sulfur. Copper is ruled by the planet Venus. Copper embodies the nurturing aspect of women and their youthfulness. It is associated with matters of love and lust and symbolizes characteristics like charisma, feminine beauty, artistic creativity, affection, caring, and balance. It is also considered a healing metal that teaches about living a fulfilling life. Ooh, I want to get some copper today. Silver. Notice silver looks like a pyramid upside down and is connected to the number 3. Silver is connected to the moon. It is one of the most versatile metals. one of the three base metals in alchemy, intuition, self-reflection, inner wisdom. It is a feminine metal, a symbol of purity, and is connected to the goddesses and spirits. Divination, healing, protection, emotion, love, wisdom, dreams, luck, and wealth. Antimony is regarded as a cooperative metal because it works best when it is combined with another metal, notably lead, brass, or bronze. It is a metalloid, which does not react chemically as a metal but has metal-like appearance and physical properties. It is a protective metal and teaches the values of transformation and adaptability to go with the flow, learning to trust divine timing, things like that. It's connected with the free spirit and wild nature or animal magnetism or power dwelling within all humans. A person can benefit by wearing this symbol when they are feeling meek or weak. So, what do we see here? The three base metals, but the two metals on the right are connected to the land of Oz. The silver shoes of Dorothy walking on the yellow brick road, the golden brick road. So who is the goddess Sol? The Norse goddess Sol was, from the beginning of time, the cosmos were created, and so too was the Nordic goddess Sol, who brought into the universe along with her brother Mani. Sol was anointed by the goddess of the sun, and Mani was the god of the moon. So we have the sun and the moon. This is actually a description of Osiris's body. 7 for her, 7 for him, the male and the female, the sun and the moon. There's a myth about the goddess Sol being chased by an evil wolf named Skoll. Now notice, Virginia, that your art has a wolf in it, and this is about planetary shifts that affects us individually and collectively. And the wolf would get close to the chariot of the goddess, causing a solar eclipse. I don't see that a solar eclipse is actually happening. What I'm seeing is that our solar system is being swallowed up by a new sun, which is actually entering us into a new realm or a new reality. There's a story of a battle, and a new world will arise that is rejuvenated and fertile. The reborn gods meet once again, and the new sun now outshines the old sun. And so this story of Saturn and the old sun and a new sun that is somehow connected to Sirius B, the dog star, which is like a blazing star, is connected to King Solomon. Solomon is Sol, which is the goddess Sol, and then which is the sun, and Oman, which is the moon. So this is the same story. So the black box of Saturn is connected to 9/11, which equals 11, and many people worship Saturn or have worshipped Saturn, and Saturn is connected to the cross and Saturday and a bearded man. So the plasma that emits from Saturn looks like a bearded man. So many of the gods that you see that are bearded, like Jesus or Odin or Zeus or even Santa Claus, it's connected to Saturn, Santa Claus, Saturn. And Saturn was a son of the God of Genesis. So to understand the God of Genesis, we have to understand the word Genesis that has the word gene in it. So they say, ancient stories or writings, and even in the Quran, that we are born with the gene in our genes. So our genes are corrupt. So transforming from lead to gold is about the perfection of our genes. So the jinn is the smokeless vapor that were created before human beings were created, and they are known as the gene, the Genesis, the genie, the genius, and they were kept in bottles made of lead. And King Solomon controlled the jinn and trapped them in bottles of lead. So in order for us to break out of the jinn or the Gentile, we have to follow the sun or gold. Just like Dorothy followed the golden yellow brick road, or Harry Potter followed the golden Horcruxes. So if you read this, this is about how Saturn was on the face, in Genesis, was on the face of darkness. And you can read about how Saturn is the allegory of the old sun or the old god of Genesis. And you can read about how Jesus was the birth of a new sun and carrying us from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius. And the Piscean traits of compassion and forgiveness were found in Jesus Christ. So this realm that we are in right now is about healing the 7 wounds of Christ, the 7 chakras, and through forgiveness. This is the realm of forgiveness to make it to the age of Aquarius. So Saturn is connected to December 25th, but Jesus is not connected to Saturn. Jesus is a new sun. So kind of like the goddess Sol. And his actual birthday is March 1st. That's funny because my daughter's birthday is March 1st. And that certainly makes better sense, because if Jesus is connected to the fish and to the age of Pisces, it would make sense that Jesus was actually born as a Pisces, not on December 25th, which is more connected to Saturn, which is the old sun that was worshipped by the Romans, who did some stuff with the Bible and really changed things around a little bit. So the reason I'm even bringing up the Bible is to explain the allegory of the understanding of the old sun, or an old world that we are leaving, and a new world, a new sun, and even a hidden world, an invisible world that we are coming in contact with, that Spirit seems to be telling you is the land of Oz. And the reason things have felt so strange lately and so still and so weird is because we are going through like a portal. So the Romans were the ones who changed Jesus, which Mithra was the first Jesus, but then this other Jesus from our Bible, and the Romans changed his birthday to December 25th, but astrologers contend that his birthday was actually March 1st. But we know that Christ is really an allegory of the sun, and could possibly, as above so below, lived as a man, of course, but it's also about planetary alignments and zodiac signs and shifting from an old world into a new world. It's also about growing our soul. So the Son of God is actually the S-U-N of God, but it is still the Son of God. It was a male who came here as a human to transform everything. But, gods have the ability to be a planet or a sun or an animal or a dove or a fire or water or a human or everything all at once. How about a million things all at once? So we can't put limitations on the energy of God. So the 3 wise men connected to Mary are actually the 3 stars of Orion's belt. We 3 kings of Orient are. After the winter solstice, Orion's belt aligns with a point on Sirius, the brightest star in the sky, to the 3 kings, the 3 stars of Orion. This is why you have Sirius be the dog star behind the star that you are holding. So the 3 stars of Orion's belt were also called the 3 kings of Orion, the 3 wise men of the Bible. They came to meet the new sun, the S-U-N of God, from the stars' perspective, from an astrology perspective. So this is a story about heaven, about the coming of heaven, the coming of a new sun, the birth of a new sun. Sirius be the dog star. So funny that when Harry Potter went to Hogwarts, which was a magical place like the land of Oz, and his god and father was Sirius Black, the dog, Sirius be the dog star, who was in a prison, Azkaban, for 12 years, but then was set free after a little while. And so these are allegories that we need to think about. So the symbolism of the story of Jesus continues as the sun that enters the house of Pisces was represented on the zodiac sign by a fish. So it is a recognition of the sun's journey through the zodiac. I don't know about that. I think it's about a miraculous event where this star swallows our solar system. Suddenly we're in a new world. Suddenly we're in the land of Oz like Dorothy, and we become magical like Dorothy and Harry Potter, both being witches and wizards. 7 for her, 7 for him. Osiris, Oz, Iris. So even Jesus becoming a shepherd is about the sun again entering the house of the zodiac. This is the time of Aries, represented by a ram, of course, who would have once been a lamb. Lambs were sacrificed in ancient times. Their blood was allowed to spill over the land. So Mother Mary is connected to Virgo, and Jesus is Pisces. The 3 wise men are the 3 stars of Orion's belt. That is connected to Sirius B, the dog star, the new sun, the new earth. I think Sirius B is the land of Oz. I believe that it is heaven, and I believe that that particular blazing star that is connected to King Solomon is a black hole, a white hole actually, that can swallow up our solar system. And if we can maintain our frequency, we can actually shift our collective consciousness to this new realm. So if you read this about how the allegory of Jesus being connected to the sun all the way to his halo and the crown, we can see Sirius B, the dog star, wearing a golden crown. But I believe that this golden crown is connected to the corona. And the corona is about our head chakra. And it is about an awakening. It is about connecting to a hidden and invisible voice known as the Holy Spirit. This voice can be known and becomes alive within us that was once dead. So as the Sirius B dog star swallows up our solar system and the god of Saturn has been diminished, something within us awakens. Just as Jesus said, I am the living waters that will pour from your heart, we become alive. And so God becomes alive within us. The new sun becomes alive within us. And the old Jen and the old genes and our old body kind of diminishes, and we become full of light or enlightenment. The 12 disciples are connected to the 12 hours, 12 months, and 12 zodiac signs. I would take it a step further and say that it's also connected to a prison planet I would call like District 12. It's a place where you have no magic. You cannot perform real magic. The grounds are not enchanted. So the sun is compared to a bridegroom. Jesus is known as the bright and morning star. Peter talks about the dawning of the day and how the day star will arise in our hearts. Not in a church, within our hearts. Jesus the sun begins his ministry at age 30. The sun enters the signs of the zodiac at 30 degrees. This is the understanding of the number 3. So the number of the sun is 111. And the sun flips every 11 years. This is why Jesus Christ has 11 letters in his name. Jesus the sun comes in the clouds for every eye to see. The sun also rides on the clouds for every eye to see. The sun is the light of the world, and so was the Christ. Many of us are spiritually 12 years old. We are leaving the temple, which is our body. We are leaving a prison planet, and we are going to the number 13. Jesus plus his 12 disciples equals 13. Jesus the Son descended into hell for 3 days and 3 nights after dying on the cross. But he did not go to hell. He went to the heart of the earth. The sun metaphorically dies for 3 days and 3 nights at the winter solstice. And when it sets, it seems to go into the heart of the earth. This is why he says, I am the living waters that pours from the heart. Jesus the Son also wore a crown of thorns. The Son has a corona which resembles the crown of thorns during the solar eclipse. A solar eclipse is supposed to have happened at the crucifixion. So the god of the moon was named Sin, and we were born in sin. We were born in moon energy. This is Muggle, Munchkin, mind, matrix, money system. We were powerless. We had no magic, and we didn't know that there was a parallel reality that was full of magic, kind of like the magical land of Oz or Hogwarts. And according to your art, it is Sirius B the Dog Star. So, Virginia, it seems as if your purpose and why you came here was to embody in the physical form a connection that you have particularly to this place of magic, this land of Oz, this heaven, this Sirius B Dog Star, because you behold the star in your hand, kind of like Solomon. They say that once we truly wear the rainbow light body, the sun will no longer be your light, or the moon, because your body will be so full of light you won't need the sun or the moon. Your days of sorrow will end, then will all your people be righteous, and they will possess the land forever. They say that this new place, the sun won't set and the moon won't wane, yet neither will dominate the sky because of God's brighter light. This brighter light is supposedly Sirius B the Dog Star, and it's supposed to make us transfigure from this flesh to bodies of light, rainbow light, that Iris goddess rainbow body light. And if you look in your piece, this rainbow is at your heart chakra. So the rainbow light coming out of your heart chakra is becoming magical, becoming powerful, and transcending to another parallel reality that is, I don't know, I'm kind of excited about it. The New Jerusalem will be a city illuminated not only by God's holiness, but also by His grace. The righteous will shine like the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Those who have insight will shine brightly like the brightness of the expanse of heaven. I actually met Christ on the spirit realm, and I will say he looks like a sun. He shines brightly, just like a sun. So when we're looking at fantasy stories like The Land of Oz or Harry Potter or Dorothy Gale, we have to understand all characters or Jesus Christ as allegories. Harry Potter, Dorothy Gale, Jesus Christ all has 11 letters in their name. They were all 12 years old when they left their land. They were all witches or wizards. Both Dorothy and Harry, both of their parents died. Both of them lived with their aunts or uncles. They both left munchkins or muggles behind. They both went to a mansion. Jesus said, "My Father's house has many mansions." So Emerald City or Hogwarts. They both had to overcome the number 7 Horcruxes or 7 colors to the rainbow. They both had to fight a reptilian wicked witch or a reptilian Voldemort. This is the Jinn, or the Satan with Jesus. And they followed a dog, Toto the dog, or Sirius Black the Dog Star. This is about a star called Sirius B the Dog Star. So many stories out there are allegories for not only zodiac signs and planetary alignments, but about a description of where we are. We are currently on a prison planet. We do not have the ability to perform magic or miracles. Although we go to school to learn spelling, to learn to cast spells, or cursive writing to curse, and we have a magistrate that is magic and summons us to court like a spell or summoning, we in this realm are learning to forgive and to transform from lead to gold, and to heal the 7 wounds of Christ through the 7 spirits of God on this realm of 7. And like District 12, it's like we're mining lead or metals. So we're kind of slaves here. But the way out is the number 13. or even the number 14. District 12 is kind of a prison, but it's okay. We're just young souls that are growing. Now let's talk about the Lion's Gate, because you have the two lions in your piece, and this is very significant. I always think of the Lion's Gate as the two oracles on the never-ending story. It is a cosmic synergy that is between stars. It is an alignment between the sun and Leo and Sirius. Sirius be the dog star, the brightest star in the night sky. It is also known as Alpha Canis Majoris, or the dog star. So again, this is how you are so incredibly connected to Sirius be the dog star. But you seem to have a secret that you're revealing that I've never seen anyone reveal before, and that is Sirius B is like a black hole. And Sirius is the personification of Sabdet and the flooding of the Nile and the onset of a new year in Egyptian mythology. Leo energy offers perennial lessons in self-love, believes that they are entitled to pleasure and deserving of desire, and ask for what they want without shame, humility, or hesitation. Leo doesn't accept scraps or second best, basically, to step into receiving and feeling deserving of love or power, or stepping into your gift and teaching and having confidence to do so. So that's something that you're being asked to do at this time, Virginia, is to step into your goddess self, and know that you are not dominated by a patriarch. You have the ability to embody the female energy and the ability to birth life from death, sorrow into healing, ignorance into knowledge, and pain into power. And that is what the female does, is has the ability and the womb to birth life, metaphorically, mentally, and spiritually, also physically, of course. So the threefold flame is an expression of love, wisdom, and power, and you're going to learn how to balance that and align your being with your divine plan, and to contemplate the characteristics of each of these three aspects of the threefold flame, and reflect on which characteristics you may already manifest and which you are also lacking, and where you have any imbalances. So you are at 12 o'clock, so you're leaving District 12. This means like Jesus left the Bible at 12. He didn't come back until almost 30 years old. And so he wasn't healing or raising the dead at 12 years old. He left to go learn. And when we learn, we go to Hogwarts. We go to the land of Oz. We go to Sirius B, the dog star. And when we go there, we don't lose consciousness of the Muggle world or the Munchkin world or the District 12 world, which is mining what? Lead and gold. We go into what I call the eye of the needle, and we let go of the matrix and all the pain and everything, and we go to the number 13. So Dumbledore's vault was 713, and this is a parallel world of 7. But it is not District 12, it is actually 13. Now 713 equals 11. Many people show you the number 13. Look at Peter Griffin's chin sideways. His mouth and his chin makes the number 13. And you'll see this everywhere if you really look. People who are in this parallel realm and can see us, they are connected to the number 13. So here's the allegory. Jesus was in the temple at 12 years old. And the temple represents the body. Your body is a temple. And was not standing up, was not powerful. Then suddenly at the Last Supper, there are 13 people there. And this 13 is reflective of a coven of witches is 13. Now, Osiris's body was cut 14 times. 14 is 7 for her, 7 for him, and the number 14 being connected to the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is the number 14, and the Holy Spirit is connected to the rainbow as well. So Virginia, you're being shown that you have the power to enter this kingdom of heaven by continuing to be dedicated in all efforts and following a pathway of life energy, not death energy, and that you're doing a great job. You have to follow to the number 13. You're being crowned with the number 13. This is your divine marriage, the divine bridegroom that is connected to the sun. This is the moon marrying the sun. Notice the male, the female, and then the bird above the head. This is female, male, and spirit, the Trinity, the number 3 connected to the sun. And this means that you have been perfected and in balance, and you're ready to walk on water, raise the dead, and step into your power. But you just have to make sure that you hear that divine voice completely, which I think you do. And then, hip hip hooray, you've left the world of sin, shame, ignorance, and narcissism under the control of Saturn and these archons. So yay, you're no longer part of a prison system or the muggles. That's great. I don't know when this Land of Oz will appear. I don't think it's here. It feels like it's birthing within us, doesn't it? Because we're starting to become a collective consciousness, and you saw me on the spirit realm, so you can see some miracles are already occurring. I think it's only going to increase at this point, according to your reading and according to the symbolisms within your art. We are going to 5D reality, which is the fifth density. Following frequency or high frequency or life energy is the key. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. The Word is sound. Sound is God, frequency. Christ is the water within the body. And when we align body, mind, and spirit in perfection, the threefold flame, we will bounce easily to this place of magic and this wonderful land of Oz. You might like to know that Glinda is the Corona Borealis, as the Corona Borealis from a telescope looks like a pink bubble surrounded by an emerald color. The color emerald is connected to the green heart chakra, and Glinda holds the scepter of the blazing star of Sirius B, the dog star, and she also has the crown, the golden crown of the Corona Borealis. So all of these fantasy stories are simply a story of our spiritual growth. And our spirit grows like an embryo. And it creates a geometrical shape that is the shape of divinity. So put your piece up against a mirror, and what number do you see? The number 13, the double rainbow, the letter M, magic, Mary Magdalene, the master magician, but turn it on its side and you see the number 13. Two worlds of 7 mirroring each other, and the rainbow mirroring the other rainbow, creating the number 13. We can't see it because we are either in one realm or the other. But if you step out of both realms and look at it from far away, it actually makes the number 13 when you put them both together. Now we can see why Jesus died at 33, because the number 33 is a mirror. And you have 33 vertebrae in your spine, of course. The Kundalini rising up to the Christos in the brain. Gotta wonder if McDonald's purposely made that giant M. On purpose, because they are from the land of Oz. I believe many people who are from this land of Oz come here to this District 12 place that we are in right now, and they're the ones who control all the corporations, I guess. I don't know how it works, really. But you are also being encouraged, Virginia, to look into symbolism, numerology, and to increase your daily bread of alchemy, of understanding precious metals, and the voice of God coming through sacred geometry, sacred numerology, sacred dreams, and communications to you through the zodiac signs, the planetary alignments. All of it is connected. It's within you and outside of ourselves. We are each other. So the number 14 represents the Holy Spirit being spread in the freedom and in nature. The number 14 represents the figure of Christ, immolated the 14th day of the moon. Osiris was cut into 14 pieces, 7 soul pieces for her, 7 for him. The sevenfold spirit mentioned in Revelation, the 7 spirits of God, the 7 wounds of Christ. So, wow, thank you, Virginia, for teaching us about a hidden, invisible portal realm known as the Land of Oz, Sirius B, the dog star, lead and gold, the jinn within our genes, the Gentile, the Archon, the Saturn, the Venus and Jupiter, the Lion's Gate, and a hidden realm with a wizard that looks like Dumbledore, Hogwarts, Sirius Black, the dog, who was in Azkaban for 12 years, meaning that he must have been in District 12 by accident. We are being set free, and the god Sirius B, the dog, is being set free from the cells of our body within our cells, which is our genes, the gen. And if we live in a parallel world that is false because the mirror is the duality together, this is your piece as a mirror and in its duality. Isn't it interesting? Thank you again for everything that you have to teach us about heaven. I love this piece so much.